is where we come together from different parts of the country and we celebrate life.
We dance for people who can't dance. We dance for people who are sick, the unborn, elders. Some people believe it helps our elders to stay young at heart and gives them hope that, traditions will be passed down.
It brings pride back. And a lot of the native people out there, especially here at this gathering and the young ones, makes them feel good. Makes them feel good about who they are.
This is a tradition of the Native Americans, and I go to powwow wherever I can, so I can reunite with Native Americans.
So it's an opportunity to come together, and not only with all Eskimos or all Athabascans or all Wampanoag people, but bring them all together and share each other's culture.
These intertribal powwows have done more to bring different tribes together than I think anything else in the history of the United States.
So this is our mission, to spread this healing songs of unity, harmony, and love. And it seems that we're making headway.
Historically and culturally, a powwow is actually a New England word, powwow, and it means a healer. It became really originally a gathering for healing, a ceremony. It just became, in our general American collective language, the word for an Indian gathering.
It wasn't always okay to be Indian. You know, it was society didn't really. It wasn't a blanket of love around the topic for many years. So it's only been in recent years that many people have been okay to bring their families out, feel proud to be who they are.
When I was born, it still wasn't cool to be Indian, you know. And as I was growing up, slowly but surely, it became a much more positive experience. You know, now, you know, I was looking at it the other day and I thought it was ironic, all these people that want to be Indian. And I spent most of my life trying not to be Indian.
For a long time, our people were told that our ways were no good. And now when positive things like the powwow comes about, or traditional gatherings, or like Rio comes about, it shows our youth the beauty of our culture, the beauty of our people. And that's what it's all about.
Well, this is what everybody's kind of agreed works in general in the lower 48, especially where it originated a lot in Oklahoma, places like that where everybody's crammed into one place. So they share songs and they share kind of general dance customs, regional. And then here we are in the 21st century, and it's a nice way of doing it.
And that's why it's growing more and more every day down in the United States, is that more Native Americans want to turn back to their culture, and that's the only way they have it. They can't go out and live off the land. There's hunting laws down there they have to go by. You can't go out there and live off of animals the way they used to. They have to powwow.
I remember some nations were bitter enemies, and now they're sitting around a drum learning these healing songs. And they in turn will go back to their communities. For instance, I heard one man say, "You look just like my brother." This is his favorite song. So I'll give it to you. He sang this song. To him, this man remembered. Other nations were doing the same thing. So today we can safely say the healing of nations has already begun by this exchange of healing songs of different nations.
The powwow is something that we really need. Native Americans, especially younger people, are trying to revive the old ways. And also want to see how other Native Americans have their social gathering through Native songs and dances. So powwow was one of them that was really needed here in the interior.
I've been here in Alaska since '75, and during that time is kind of the time frame when intertribal powwowing started here in Alaska. And there are more and more Native Alaskans joining in intertribal powwow than were several years ago. Alaska is one of the last places in North America for intertribal powwowing to start.
So there are people that came up and they started teaching the drum, okay, the intertribal drum as they call it here, the lower 48 drum. And a lot of the native people and everything, they weren't near their communities, or the elders weren't teaching them the songs and the music. So they started picking up the drum with the intertribal drum.
When I first started doing intertribal dancing, yes, it was strange, but it was more of like a curiosity, and it feels good.
Some tribal members at first kind of didn't like it because they were thinking that their youth should be participating in their own cultural dances and songs instead of joining in with this intertribal powwow dancing, which has kind of swept the whole North America. But actually what has happened is this intertribal powwows is lots of fun for young people. They love going there and meeting each other and having fun and singing. So I think it's a catalyst for young people to join all Native Americans in intertribal powwowing, but also to explore their own culture.
It helps you once you start knowing the culture and the way of lifestyle of each drum. It hopefully prompts the people into wondering what about my heritage.
I see families going out and dancing, and I think that's all it took, was to get the families involved, and that was it.
When we go to their country, like their reservation in Arizona, New Mexico, they welcome us there with whatever tradition we have, you know, our kind. And then we also join them in their tradition. But basically, we're all Native Americans, and we have a bond, you know, so it's really great.
Well, what has happened, Don Standing Bear is originally from Massachusetts. His family is still there, and he has had a dream, I guess, to put on an intertribal powwow in Alaska. This would be something, it is something new for the state, where we bring people from different nations or different tribes together.
It all started about 6-7 years ago. Richard Frank, Athabascan elder, came to me, and we were at WEO, World Eskimo Indian Olympics, and there was a small powwow gathering there. And he turned to me, he says, Don, he says, why don't you get a powwow together? And it was like a shock to me. Richard Frank and I have known each other for years. He knows where I come from. And we've been close friends. In fact, my first traditional potlatch here in Alaska, I sat with Richard Frank many years ago, and he taught me the tradition of the potlatch.
I suggested that we're trying to have a powwow in this area. And then didn't realize that he took it very seriously. so as a result of the suggestion, it became a reality.
About 3 years ago, I told our drum group, "Are you guys ready to host a powwow?" Of course, they said, "Oh yeah, let's go ahead and do it," you know. And I said, "Okay, be ready, because I'm going to have things rolling here in another year or two." The thing that I remembered my parents teaching me for many years is respect and honor. And what I did is I made a moose hide pouch, filled it with sacred tobacco, and then I went to Richard Frank and said, my way of asking permission is to do this is the proper way, and I'd like to get to First Chief Peter John and ask his permission to have this powwow here. And basically what the powwow would be is to bring American Indians, First Nations people of Canada, and Native Alaskans together to share our similarities and to learn about one another, to make us stronger and make us more understanding of the world that we live in, because we're changing so much.
To get the permission from our traditional chief, Peter John, at Minto, Alaska, I knew that was going to be something that has to be done. Because the traditional way is that they get permission to conduct ceremonies in the Athabascan land. And his response was, if it's going to help the people, the young and old, in the area of education and exercising our culture, he said, I strongly permit that and strongly support it. I didn't realize that his words carried forth with such a strong, strong meaning coming from him. I didn't expect that. So it was very, very encouraging.
First thing is the basics, pair of beaded leggings. This is an integral part of a northern traditional outfit. This is the basic foundation for your upper body.
I think when they think of Native peoples, they like to sum everybody up as being the same, but they're all very unique nations. Every nation, the Athabascan Nation, the Micmac Nation, the Choctaw, whoever, they're all very unique peoples. And yet we're able to dance with this, what they call intertribal powwow music, and it's kind of a universal music that anyone can dance to.
The type of dancing that we do that a lot of people join in is called round dancing. And it's a very simple step. It's a side step, and everybody gets in a circle and moves together. And it is very simple, and that does help people join in. And that is the idea of that round dance.
If you can follow the beat of the drum, you can pick it up real fast. It's just like with the modern day dances, all you have to do is follow the beat and be dancing in one place or all over the place. It's the same way with the intertribal drum and with our Yupik-Chupik dancing. They all have to deal with the beat of the drum.
Well, I think the common denominator for all tribes, no matter where they came from, was the drum. It's the drum beat, and it represents the heartbeat of the mother and the ancestors.
The drum does represent healing for us. It represents joy. It's kind of our telegraph and our telephone, and it brings all of our wishes and our thoughts together.
You have that rhythm, which is a heartbeat. It's a dun 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 dun. It might be subtle, but it's there. And the words that we're singing, they usually say stuff like, you know, we're a Native people, be proud dance, be happy. If you say that over and over and over and over and over and over again, you can be in a trance-like place.
I'm just like floating. I'm in a meditation form, and it doesn't take any energy to do that. It's just like actually calms me.
When I'm doing the intertribal, it feels up, in my spirit would be glad and soaring high, being free. That's the way I feel and think about, and that's the way my attitude would be. Just drumming, singing, dancing, it makes my spirit free. I feel good when that happens.
Getting rid of a lot of the pent-up emotions that you have inside of you. You release that. And the spirituality of the dance is something that's really, really appreciated on a personal basis.
Just to be able to go into a circle has a sacredness, whether you believe it or not. When you're in there and you're aware of it, it's peaceful and it's complete, and you can't really explain a lot of things unless somebody's been there.
There's they call it 4 sacred circles. The first one being the drum, which represents the heartbeat and the different generations of our ancestors. It's always been the center of the culture. And you go around the world, it's like the drum is the heart of many cultures. Next to that is the men around that drum, the protectors of that. And then there's the life givers, the women. We pay special respect to the women who are life givers. And outside of that circle are the rest of the people, the other dancers.
A circle is a complete, simple thing. It's in the whole world, which is a circle, and the cycles of life and all that, and the seasons. We're just animating that consciously.
When we dance in a circle, it's like going to church on Sunday, okay? We dance every day of the week. We're always in church, and a lot of people don't understand that.
The majority of praying that Native Americans do is done through dances. They feel that there's a lot more power in movement and in meditating with your mind than speaking out of your mouth.
Much of the music you're hearing is done in vocables. They're sounds in a specific sequence. The reason for that is that the men who came up with me, who are singing with the 101 singers from the state of Massachusetts, can sit down with the men and women from Anchorage, and they can sing the same songs because they're not singing a language, they're doing it in vocables. And the vocables go all over the country.
But if you listen to them, you will see different places, people sing them a little different. It's just like any story or anything about a culture. As it moves from place to place, it changes by the people doing it. It's like the old story of you whisper something in somebody's ear at a long line, and they keep whispering, it gets to the other end, it's something else.
So we're spreading this music around, and it is becoming somewhat a pan-Indian thing. But we are also trying to maintain our identity as individuals. We have problems with self-identification frequently when people say, gee, you don't look Indian. We don't have the square cheekbones and the Roman nose and the long black braided hair. And it only takes one generation to lose that coloration. And we have a lot of people who are full-blood Mohawk, for instance, who are green-eyed and blue-eyed on reservations in Canada.
People are different, and it's true. We're watered down anyway. We go bald, we have beards. It's like people thought no Indians ever shave, because in Roy Rogers' day, they never showed it.
And until people realize that we're not in a cowboy and Indian 1930s movie anymore. We bump into school children this way and talking to school children, they'll say, well, you're not an Indian, that isn't an Indian hat. And it is, it's a very traditional Indian hat. And so in talking with people, this is what we try to do. We try to let them know that we are all different. And we encourage people to ask, to go up to someone and say, hey, what's this funny hat you have here? What's this all about?
The good part of the powwow is there's a lot of public coming in and seeing the diversity, seeing that we're not all Lakota Sioux.
I come from a generation where my father, I'm 52 years old, and the people of my age and everything else, a lot of us, we've lost our language. We've lost our traditions.
All our elders that crossed over didn't teach the younger people. And by not doing that, see, we're losing tradition. And so a lot of us, we have to turn around and change that. And like myself, I'm 60 years old. God knows how long I'm going to be here. Now, I've got my grandkids here, and they're learning everything about the responsibility of being at a powwow.
A lot of youth, I think, grow up not really understanding. You're just kind of there. But even though our youth are there, and sometimes they don't look like they're really paying attention, they're absorbing and they're observing. And more important than what we say, they watch what we do. So in that way, we're passing this down to them, and they remember when they get older, they remember how things are and what it means to be family.
And the one thing is, and I realized it because I was a child and I was a youth and a young adult, and I strayed away from traditional ways. But those traditional ways are always there. We learn them, and they're always here in our heart. And I've seen many youngsters stray away, but when they became a little bit older, in their mid-20s even, they come back and they say, I have to get back to the spirit of our people.
Before powwows, the whole time my workplace was open, I was there even on my days off. I just had nothing to do with it. Eventually got me into mischief, drinking and smoking marijuana. But now that I have my elders within the group and those that are older than me within the group that I talk with and help me and give me advices about how I should be doing things. And they also encourage me. They always say, you did a good job, keep coming back. Or, you do a great job, keep doing it. And I always tell them I plan on doing it until I'll probably keep doing it until I physically won't be able to do it.
I was told by an elder that the most important time for a dancer is not when you're out there dancing, but when you have the regalia off and you're just doing your everyday thing, because that's when little eyes are watching, you know, you also. They're watching what you do, and we just try to be a good role model.
One of the things that we've found is that the more we gather, the more we come together as people, the stronger we are. And there's been a lot of research done down in the States that the alcohol and drug incidence lessens the more people gather and the more we come together and share our experience and share our traditions.
He's saying if you're going to be part of this, you have to be in a good way. You cannot touch drugs or alcohol. So it's in hopes that maybe our youth, our younger ones, when they come up and they grow up, hopefully they'll be a little smarter and 10 times stronger than we were.
I hope that they would think of the gatherings as a place to come together where everyone is kind of walking a good path, that there's a lot of joy, that it's a clean and sober place that people can get together with their families. I would hope that they would just think of the powwow as a place of unity.
Helps burn off all this extra energy I got. And it's a lot better with going to powwows than compared to when I was drinking and doing drugs back in that time. Nowadays I don't have to wake up wondering what did I do last night. Everybody keeps telling me I'm doing a good job, but stay sober. Continue to stay sober and just really encouraging for me.
It's important to all of our youth to know who they are, where they come from, let them feel good about who they are, and there's nothing to be ashamed of.
I usually just let them know you should be proud of who you are. We're strong people to be surviving this long. We've got our dances, we've got our language. They try to outlaw it, they try to ban it, and continue to do them today. So whatever you do, don't let anybody put you down. If people make fun of you, it is because they're jealous. You know your language, you know your dances. They make fun of you because of that. And I was letting them know that it makes me happy to see you coming. I tell them to keep coming back and make me proud and make others proud. I always let them know your elders get happy too when they see you out there dancing.
I just have to say to the little kids how cute they are and how proud I am to see them, the little Indians and native Alaskans, you know. And they're so cute with their black hair and enthusiasm. It's really good. I see good signs. I see really good future.
We're in a good place now because my first child was just born 2 months ago, and she has a name from my own language, and we plan to raise her very traditionally and raise her with the language and with the traditions of our culture, and hopefully when she's my age, she'll still have that freedom to live that way.
The celebration of life is so sacred. I mean, that's all we have is life. And all we have is one another. And one of the things that I've learned and trying to share is we can't do anything alone.
It's a place to basically call home. Thanks.
Our spirit's been allowed to wake back up. We understand the importance of our traditions, of our cultural teachings, and how it strengthens us.
That ancient culture is still right here. It's just like one layer below everyday life. Just peel that layer off, it's right there. In a lot of these families here, it's just right there. If you just have an appreciation for that, and, maybe that's all we can ask for.